You ready? Here you go. Hit it.
But it was refreshing to have someone who actually cared.
My son is just one soul. If I change 100 souls, what do you think God want me to do? Give up and be depressed because I can't see one soul, or help 100?
Welcome to Madhouse Conversations. My name is Genesis Lawanson, and I am your host. Madhouse Conversation is about listening and learning in real time. On this episode, experience meets curiosity. Today, we will be sitting down with the welder who has over 2 decades of experience, and he's going to be having a conversation with a student who is learning the trade on what it takes to build skill, pride, and what it takes to build a life through the trade. If you get any value from this conversation, give us a like, give us a comment, and let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe. Before welding, who were you? I'm gonna start with the instructor.
Well, I grew up in the project, so I was actually a hustler. If I had to get a title, I'm gonna say I was a hustler. And when I say hustling, I'm not saying anything illegal. I'm talking about hustling. Like I was selling cans, puck-ons, newspapers, you know what I mean? And then it eventually went to drugs, but I've always been a hustler. So I started off just trying to change my situation. I just always had the passion just to do better. So that's how I started.
Well, before you were interested in welding, who were you?
Um, like not much to be honest. I just kind of take things day to day as they go, and I just do what I have to do to get by. So I just work like, dead end jobs, whatever. School was always something that was in my mind, but it was never something that I thought was like actually achievable for me. Like, I don't know, just like how I grew up, it just was never something that was talked about like in my community. So, and then I got the opportunity to come here for Meta, and I heard about the welding program. And I've always been someone who I like hard work and I like to work with my hands. So I thought that that could be something fitting for me. And then I came here and I took like one class with Mr. Brown, and I was like, I think this is gonna be it. So
Okay, well, now I want you guys to introduce yourself. Start with the instructor.
My name is Joel Brown Jr., AKA your welding coach, because I'm personal with everything I do. And I'm actually born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was raised in Denver and McGee in Arkansas City, Arkansas. So
Nice. What about you?
my name is Heaven Martin. I grew up in a very small town in Texas for most of my life, and then I moved to Arkansas, and that's when I started taking things as they come.
How did welding first enter into your life?
I got introduced to welding while I was incarcerated. At this particular time when welding got introduced, I had gotten trouble in prison. So prison is just like being free, as far as like if you catch another charge, you got to go to court inside of prison, just same way if you do out here. So I was only in prison. I wasn't in prison 90 days, probably 30 days, I think 30, 45 days. And I had caught a new charge. So I caught a attempted murder charge, and I had just went down to prison for drugs and robbery. So while I was down there about 45 days, I caught attempted murder charge for standing up for myself. And in doing that, my mom heard about the news. And so she was so excited about it because she was worried about me. I was young, I had long hair, I was from the street. So she was like, he gonna get down there with all these old men, they gonna try to take advantage of my baby. You know, she didn't know my character. She knew I was from the streets, but she didn't know my character. Once she found out that I stabbed somebody for my manhood, she was excited. She was like, okay, I ain't got to worry about that. My baby gonna take care of itself. So she went to sleep and woke up excited to see me, but she was like, I got to give him something. just so happened a welding commercial was on. Tulsa welding commercial at that, and it was talking about how much they can make an hour, they can travel, they can be felons and get it, and that's what caught her. That I could be a felon and I could make $100 an hour. She heard that and she was like, okay, he a hustler. He gonna grab hold to that. So that was the seed that she planted to kind of keep me focused while I was in prison. So she knew I was gonna take care of myself, but I also needed a direction. So when she found out that's when she came down. She came to visitation and she said, hey man, what do you think about welding? And to be honest with you, I looked at it and said, man, Mom, I don't know nothing about weld. What is that? You know what I'm saying? So she got to just telling me what she heard on, just on the commercial. So she was like, I'm gonna send you some stuff on it. So she probably sent me 5, 6 papers front and back. At the time it was Cyclopedia, so the internet wasn't just jumping then. And in this 5 or 6 papers, it just talked about the introduction to welding, the terminologies, how long it's been started, just gave me some basic stuff on it. But that became my Bible. Now at this time I'm 16, you know what I mean? That became my Bible. I hold on to that until I was 21. That's when I got in the welding program. So I held on to that for 5 years until I was able to get into the welding program. Then I got into the welding program at 21. And when I did, the instructor thought I'd been welding all my life. Like, no lie, he'll come in the booth and say, hey, Joe, you just come here to get some paper. I said, nah, man, I ain't never did this. I've been holding on this for these many years. So it impressed him so much. Not only did I graduate the top of my class, I became a welding instructor then because he hired me to start helping him teach the class. So literally right after I learned, I started teaching others how to do it as well. And I was still in prison at the time.
That's interesting. So you became an instructor in prison.
In prison. Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little backstory on why you were in prison in the first place?
So I went to prison for drugs and robbery. So like I say, I was always into the streets, into making money. So when I come down here to visit my mom to Arkansas from Denver, I ended up losing some of my drugs. So I had to do something to get back home. So we ended up catching a small robbery, a lady that was with me and her, and I ended up getting incarcerated for that. That's why I went to prison. So
you already told me how welding first got into your life.
Well, actually, my uncles, I have a lot of uncles, and most of them were like younger when I was like little. They were like mid-teenagers, whatever. And there was this little school across the street from our house where they started doing welding classes and other stuff. I think it was like some kind of community college or something. And my grandma would make my uncles go over there and take like welding courses and stuff. And a lot of them, they all had really bad drug habits too, though. So like they would get the certificates and stuff, but then they wouldn't really do anything with them. But so it was like a thing in my family. Like a lot of people were welders. So I didn't know much like that went into it, but I knew that it was a good job because that's what I always heard.
What did you hear about welding that made you think it was a good job?
They just said that you can make good money from it. They said it was a lot of hard hours and like the work and all that, but they would just be like, welders make good money. And I was like, I'm trying to make some good money. So, hey.
Okay, all right. But I'll go back to the instructor. What made you say yes to this path? Because you already spoke about your mom coming to see you while you were incarcerated and she heard about the news. But what made you say, okay, this is my path right now?
Honestly, me and my mother was so connected as far as like, she was my mother, but she was my friend as well. And I think I was hers too. So it's kind of like when your best friend come to you with some information that they know is going to be beneficial for you, you just gravitate to it. So not only did I take it just because she was my mother, but I respected her as a person. So when she told me what I can do, it's kind of like she inspired me in a way. You know what I mean? Because she never knew anything about welding, but I looked up to her so much, and the way she talked about it made me want to learn more about it. So that way I could make her proud. So that's what kind of dived into it. And like I say, that was my only avenue from getting out of prison and to be able to make some income without turning back to that same situation. So to me, welding made more sense because I could actually get the 6 figures without coming back to prison.
Okay, so that is what sort of links you guys. It links you guys together because you've been doing this for a long, long time. And we're going to get into that as well. you said you actually thought welding was great because you could make a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
And he's saying the same thing because he got into welding because his mom told him, but then it's more like, I don't want to go back to the street. And this is a way for me to make money. So both of y'all actually started this, even though he started this for more than 2 decades.
Yeah.
And you just started, but it's still the same motive.
Yeah. Basically, I was tired of doing what I've been doing, and I needed something better, something new, something that like would push me more than what I'm already doing in like regular jobs and stuff.
Awesome. What was harder about learning welding than you expected?
I think the things that makes it hard, and I think this is from a lot of beginners too, when you look at it and you try to consume it from every angle first, like you try to remember the terminology, you want to get the tools, just take it one stage at a time. I think that's the most overwhelming part because there's so many moving parts to it. You think you got to get it all at one time. And if you just get pieces at a time, it'll come together as a whole. I think that's the hardest thing.
What was harder for you being a student?
I would say just like learning to, the way he said it is, that's exactly like how he teaches it. He teaches it one step at a time. I think that's why it was so easy to grasp onto, because I know myself personally, when I try to consume too much information at once, it does not turn out well at all. So he would just like start us like hands-on immediately. Like, okay, come over here. This is what this is. This is how you use it. Now use it. And I don't know. It just put it together real fast and everything just clicked once.
Okay. Mr. Joe, what's something that people don't see when they look at this job, this trade?
They don't see that you have to be a mentor to be successful at it. As a job, it can be a job, but it's not going to be a fulfilling and successful job for you morally if you're not involved in it, if it's not your passion. You know what I mean? So I would recommend that a person wouldn't do it if it was just for the money, because you're going to make good money teaching it, but have a passion as far as being a mentor, changing someone, because welding is something they going to teach them, but you have to teach them how to focus. You see what I'm saying? Because welding is based on muscle memory. Ain't no rocket scientist to go into the gym picking up some weights, fam. You know, you gonna go, if you do 10 and I do 1, who gonna be bigger? You gonna be bigger. So all I'm doing is giving them the tools, the equipment, and allowing them to clean their head so they can go in and work out. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, how many reps they do is going to determine how they look when they leave the gym, when they look in the mirror. You know what I mean? So, and it's also going to reflect on their income as well. You know what I mean? So the more you know, the more you grow. So
The more you know, the more you grow. Hearing that, what do you have to say? The more you know, the more you grow.
He's just so wise. He's exactly right. Like, because everybody's different, especially with the learning. So like, what could take me just 2 reps to get down could take another person 10. But then at the same time, when you're learning it, especially with other classmates, it like it drives you, because it's like, man, I want to get it down that quick too, you know, and then it could lead to frustrations or whatever. So you got to be able to, you know, help them. Like, it's not a field where everybody can be frustrated at once, because then nothing gets accomplished, you know.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Right. Awesome. I can see you've learned a lot from Mr. Joe.
Yeah, and I've only taken like 2 courses with them. So that was,
Courses?
yeah, like a couple hours here, a couple hours there, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, we're just now getting into the process. So she is literally what we'll like to call a greenhorn. You know what I mean? But I see so much potential in her. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much potential. It's kind of like, you know, if anyone that does a field, then you a coach at it, you can always see the students that get it. See, welding is a thing that you can learn it. Anybody can learn it, but some people get it. You know what I mean? Like, some of us are blessed with, we can just gravitate to it quick. And I can see that being a coach, and that's what I seen in her. Not only just as being a worker, I seen her transitioning all stages. Like when I seen, I said, "Oh, she can be a good worker, but she can be a great instructor, and later a great professor." You know what I mean? Because she gravitated to the knowledge in a way where it impressed me. I gave her some information, she did it, and then I was able to step back and say, "Okay, I got another student that I haven't told them anything that I told you. Could you walk them through the stages?" She was able to walk her through the stages to do the same thing, and that's what made me say, "Okay, she got it." She didn't even know what she did, but I seen it, and I was like, "Okay, it was natural." I was like, "Yeah, she got it."
What gave you the confidence that you could actually help the new student?
I actually didn't have that much confidence. He just told me to do it, so I did it. And I just told her what he told me, and I just showed her, what helped me. I was like, of course, you got to work and do what helps you best, but this is what I do, and she caught on to it pretty quick. So
Nice.
no sense.
Nice. I like the chemistry. Okay. What mistakes do beginners have to make to really learn this trade?
Make mistakes. It's kind of like, I tell people, like, when you if I'm in the booth with them, they'll try to drive right. You know how kind of like, your dad in the car with you, you ain't gonna do no donuts.
Right.
They need to do that. In the booth, you need to make those mistakes. I'm gonna say go uphill. You gonna try it down here just to see, well, let me see if I can make it down here. Maybe he don't know what he's talking about. Go on and do it. Because you're gonna find out when you're mistaken. Nah, it's a reason why everything happens. You know what I mean? So I feel when you're in the booth, make those mistakes. Do the things you thought, well, you know what, maybe he ain't as smart as he think he is. So that way you can learn it from you can learn it from your own. Because trial and error is everything. And a lot of times what I have learned, I have 3 children. And all of them is different, and one thing I learned about kids, no matter how old you are or who you have them, they all go in a cycle. You're gonna have one that you can say, "Hey, don't touch that, it's hot." They ain't gonna touch it. Then you're gonna have that one, you gonna say, "Hey, don't touch that, this is hot." They're gonna say, "Well, why shouldn't I touch it?" They're gonna question everything. Now they ain't gonna touch it, but they gonna question. Then you're gonna have that one, you say, "Hey, don't touch that, it's hot." Well, let me find out. So you go,
Right.
that's the 3. And so that's the same way with teaching somebody. So I've just noticed that I can tell who you are. You might not even know who you are, but I can tell, okay, you got to touch it. Go in there and burn yourself. Then he'll listen to me. Or she'll listen to me. You know what I mean? So everybody is different. That's why I say you have to have the character to be a mentor. You can't just do this, what I'm doing, for the money, or it's not going to work. If I was doing it for the money, I couldn't read your spirit. I couldn't tell when oh man, he got something on his mind or she got something on his mind, maybe something going on at the house. You can't do this physical thing if you're thinking in another area. You know what I mean? Because then now you can cause yourself to get hurt because everything we using can cut fingers off, can burn you up, can kill you. You see what I'm saying? So I don't need you to be not in the game. You get what I'm saying? So if something going on, I got to be able to tell that. If I'm all about the money, I can't tell that. I'm just here for the check. You know what I'm saying? So you'll let somebody drown or let someone do something. That's why I just say having a passion as an instructor, as a teacher is very needed because then I can meet people where they are and I can actually change their life. I can't change you if I'm just trying to get the bag because you won't even know I'm from the bag. Just like you have been the teachers that you knew, they just here, they ain't trying to help me at school, 3rd grade, 4th grade, but then you had them ones that stood you to the side. You're like, they really kind of cared about me. And they are always stuck with you to this day. That's me. Because I know I got to do that in order to be with them because my goal is to live to be remembered. I'm not going to be here forever, but as long as I live through each individual I teach, I'm going to live forever because everybody I touch going to pass me down to the next generation. And that's my goal. That's my legacy. That's why I'm here at Arkansas Baptist.
You spoke about this trade being dangerous and how you could actually even get killed.
Yes. Yes. I have had people that I know that all that didn't happen to. So I'm blessed. I got all my fingers, all my eyes, because I practice safe PPE, which is the same thing I teach them to put their stuff on. But if you don't, you can lose fingers. I got friends that ain't got fingers cutting stuff, because they wasn't being safe. Or I got a friend that died, got cancer out of all of my people that I know because he wanted to do it for the money. He was chasing the money. You're going to get the money. He went overseas, got the welded on something that they ain't telling what it was welding on because they paying you. Man, that man strong. That man was 220. That man went from 220 to like 80 pounds, like in a month. Died. He got good money. And his wife told me to tell everybody, hey, what he did, he sacrificed, we straight for the rest of our life. All the kids, but y'all don't do that just for no money. So his wife came to me and said, Jay, tell him go get the money, but don't just chase it for the money because your family wants you to. We appreciate what he did. He died. We good, but we still rather have him. So just don't do it for the bag. You won't get the money though.
How did you get this mindset to not chase money? Because initially you got into it for money because you wanted to get out of the street. So how did you grow this much? You say, okay, I'm not doing it for the money anymore. I want to make an impact in kids' life, like hers.
The crazy thing is I've always had that spirit to make an impact. I just wanted some money too. You see what I'm saying? I just wanted some money too. I always wanted to do the impact. It's just always truly been me. But I always truly been a hustler. Like when you're in a situation where you don't have it, you're just trying to feed. So once I figured out how to feed myself, then I realized that it's only a certain amount and I'm okay. You know, after you do so much, that's why I'm okay with, because I have got a chance to live the life. I've done, you know, I'm about to be 46 and I feel like I'm entering my 5th life right now. You know what I mean? Since I've been here. So I have experienced things that people my age won't even see. You know, I had done things my mom and them wish they could have did, you know, so I'm thankful. So that's why once you get to a spot, you'll realize the money actually ain't even real, but my skill set and my influence is real though. You know what I mean? So I realized after a certain amount, it really don't matter no more. I mean, how many pair of shoes I'm gonna buy, how many shirts I'm gonna get, how many cars I'm gonna drive, you know, and I don't even like driving now. I'd rather have somebody take me somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So you see what I'm saying? So as you get it, I think you start maturing. But you gotta think, I've been hustling since I was young, so I got a chance to touch money early. You know what I mean? So the things that people was doing for in their 20s to get money, I'd already did that. I had a Benz at 15. You see what I'm saying? From the streets though, but I had it. So just to let me know, it ain't no difference. I don't need to have that. I did that already. You know what I mean? I jumped off the porch early, so now I can pour my life into them, into my kids, into other people, and I can still enjoy my life though, because I enjoy seeing her do good, seeing so-and-so do good. I enjoy that to see, oh man, they living good over there because of what I liked it. You know what I mean? And to me, that's my riches. That's what I get out of it. You know what I mean? Because the money is going to be what it is. And that's another thing too, because once I show them how to make the skills from the money, make the money from the skills, then I teach them how to make the money from the money. Meaning you only can work so many hours in a day. So now we got to learn how to use that money because it don't sleep. It don't get tired, it don't eat, and it don't complain. So once you get enough money, then you learn how to use money. And that's where I'm cool now because I got several different ways of money coming in. Screaming, ebooks, authors, products. So once you figure that part out, then you can really relax and start doing what you want to do because you just want to make sure you're good. The main impact is make sure I can change somebody else's life and teach them how to do the exact same thing I'm doing in real time.
Listening to your instructor talk about losing people to welding, people losing their fingers, how does that make you feel? Does that discourage you at all?
It doesn't discourage me. It's like a caution. Like it just encourages me to make sure I'm doing it safely because I enjoy all my limbs personally. So as long as you're just doing what you're supposed to do and you're not making it to like a greed thing or whatever, I feel like everything should be fine. So I just keep my gear on. Personally, I don't take it off until it's time to leave. So if I stick by.
So you make sure it's safety first.
Yes, always. You have to, or you lose thumbs.
What she say?
What's been the most frustrating part of learning so far for you?
It's not really frustrating for me at all. Like, which is odd because usually like starting jobs or like learning new things, it always has its frustration levels, vary, but it's just been really easy. And I think that's what drew me into it even more because it's not hard. Like I'm not stressing myself out trying to learn it or perfect it or whatever. It just, you're either going to get it or you're not. So I just go with the flow. And that's been the easiest for me so far, especially because he's like he's not like discouraging at all. So even if I feel like I'm not gonna get it, he's like, no, you're gonna get it. Just give it a couple more tries. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna try it, but I'm not gonna get it. And then I try it again a couple more times. And I'm like, okay, I guess it wasn't that hard. I'm saying,
So you would say being around good environment and good instructor who actually cares about you
yes,
and your safety is, would you say that would be a number one priority for anybody looking into going into welding?
for sure. If if your instructor doesn't care about how well you're gonna pick it up or your progress, then eventually you're not gonna care and you're just gonna do it just to do it. You're not gonna put any like real effort into it. You're gonna make the line, but you're not gonna care how clean it is or if it connects or whatever, if that makes sense. But because you can always tell when your teachers don't care as well. And eventually when somebody's showing you that they don't care after a while, you stop caring. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What did welding make possible for your life?
It allowed me to see the country, to see the United States. I went from Arkansas to South Carolina to Washington State welding on somebody else's money, paying for my rooms, paying for my travel. So I got a chance to see the world off somebody else's money and make money at the same time. So that was neat. Uh, I got a chance to buy 3 homes, actually. I own one now, one I ended up losing, and then I had a RV, and it was like a $50,000-$60,000 RV. So I got a chance to do that from welding. I can't count the vehicles I have owned. I have had so many since I've been out. I probably had 15 vehicles, and I like old school cars. I like to fix them up too. So I done had from BMWs to Benz to box Chevys to Bubba Chevys to Z71s, you know what I'm saying, to Suburbans, everything on rims, 26s, 22s, 24s, you know what I mean? So I done did all of that. I done had 3 sets of grills. This gold been in my mouth a lot of different time, and all this is welding money. You know what I mean? So this is things I have done from welding just has been phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like this position, me being here at the school, you know, all of this is from putting in the work. You know what I mean? So one that's took me places that I would never imagine, fam. You know, and this is one of them. You know what I mean? I never think I'd be at no school. You know what I mean? But things happen, and life change. So yeah.
What are you open to get from welding?
A better life, a brighter future. Um, I don't know. Like I wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps. Like I know he said he could see like the potential in me being an instructor or whatever. And I feel like that would be a good course for me just because going off what he said again, I enjoy helping people. Like I've always been kind of like a people pleaser. And you know, I just like to see people excel and do good. Like even in this program right now, most of the other students are like DYS kids. Um, so they're only here during the week and then they go back to the jail on the weekends and they're back in that environment again. And then while they're here, there's no like mentors this time around. There's no one following them around all day and you know telling them except for me. Now of course I like stuck myself in that role, but then I got assigned the role after that because those kids are younger than me and I'm 22, so I've had a lot more like experience in the real world than they have. So like whereas I come here and I've had so many jobs already, I understand having to listen to authority and even if you don't want to do it, you got to get it done, you know, hard work, having to push yourself with no motivation, all that. And whereas they're like 16, 17, 18, and they're like, I don't care. I don't want to do it. I don't have to listen to them. I don't want to, even if you don't want to, you got to do it. So they call me like Mama Heaven and all that because I'm always on them about stuff. I gave them alarm clocks to wake themselves up, but I still go knock on their door every morning to make sure everyone's up ready for breakfast. Make sure everyone's in their room ready to go to class when we need to. Make sure they're ready to go back to class. I don't care if you're not hungry, go eat. You know what I'm saying? So I just enjoy doing that, especially when you see somebody come to you like one way and you're like, that's just not it, and then you kind of put in the work to build them up and make sure they're doing what they need to do. And then when you see towards the end the progress that they've made, it just makes you proud. And I enjoy that feeling. Tell her.
You spoke about DYS kids. Can you tell us what that means?
Oh, okay. I'm still not completely sure on the definition. I think it's like detentional youth services. So they're all like they're all in juvenile right now. Some of them have like done the work and they're like getting released one by one, but there's still a couple of them that are in like state custody. So they get to come here during the week and take the entrepreneurial course that we're in right now. And then on the weekends they have to go back to the jails for the weekend, but they get to come back Monday mornings and like start it over again. So I know it's confusing for them to like be here during the week and get to experience some of the freedom and like, like regular kids, whatever. And then on the weekends they have to go back there, and it kind of just reverses everything that we just made progress on. But they're doing the work and they put in the effort, and I can see a lot of them really want to do better for themselves.
Listening to her talk right now and the work she's doing with this DYS kids, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it just confirms what I already said, that she got it in her. I said that when I met her. You know what I mean? So just to hear her say that, it just, it just aligns with what I said. So I know God leading me the right way, because I just go off the spirit of a person and I just watch. So that's what I seen. And that's what makes this program so valuable too. That's why I'm here too. Because this entrepreneur, this Meta 24 entrepreneur boot camp is for kids like I was. They go into the juvenile and getting them before they go to prison, and they can get them out and change them and give them college credits and a skill and help them with a job, and they can stay on campus. You know what I mean? So if I would have had something like that, you got to think I got locked up at 16. These kids 16, 17 years old. So they in the same situation I was. You know what I mean? It just, they had somebody to come down there and get them. And then the thing that we try to fix the problem after a person get in prison, it's kind of hard. It's kind of like Frederick Douglass say, it is harder to fix a broken man than it is a child that ain't never been damaged. You can heal that child, then it's harder to fix that broken man. He can get fixed, but it's going to be harder. So we're going upstream. The problem is with the babies. So that's why I'm here, because we saving the babies. If we can help change their mentalities at 16, 17, 15, we can change everything. You know what I mean? And by them being in this type of environment, when they hear people don't know if they a DS kid or if they going to college. You see what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother part of self-esteem. A whole nother part of entitlement that can give them, say, man, I can belong in this space. You know what I mean? So for me to be here, and for those that follow me and they like, oh, I want to get this, and I didn't show them. That's why I left my Hog On TV channel was up, which it started off at 3 different names. So I started off first at Hog On Welder. Then it transitioned into Hog On University when I started teaching all the time. Now it's Hog On TV, which highlights everything that I went through in the journey. I got over 6,000 videos on this channel right now, on my YouTube channel. And it's doing numbers now because people are going back to when I started. So when they go to my new channel, and I got over 60-some thousand subscribers just on that channel, but they're starting to go back and see how I did it, because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody like to show me the way. But everybody, it's kind of like, we know so-and-so famous, he from this little town, and then now he's here. But they never gave us the story, like how he got there. You know what I'm saying? So I want to do that with my journey. That's what I did with the Hog On TV. So now a student or anyone can go back and they can see my first job, when I quit a job, when I got frustrated, I started a project, that didn't work, I made something else, so I documented it all, so that way you can see there's no finessing this. You can't finesse it. You know what I mean? You can put the work in and it's going to give you results every time. So I documented it because I know if it's not documented, it never happened. Wouldn't nobody believe me that I traveled, that I did this, I did that, if I didn't document it. Just like when I met you, when we first met, you was like a person to say, oh, they did this and did this. He said, but nah, you live that life. I seen you do this. You actually can still do it. That's a whole different thing. And now that I got a archive of it, I don't have to like pull nobody arms. You know what I mean? And then you can also see that I really want to help you. I don't have to do what I do. You know what I mean? So I did that because I think that that's how we're going to be able to really impact the youth. We got to show them. People been lying, like the OGs lied to me. I'm going to keep it 100. My OGs lied to me. They showed me one hand. Fam, I'm 45. Finna be 46. They lied to me. You see what I'm saying? I done told them, why you didn't tell me the whole game and let me pick? Yeah, you told me to do all this here, but you didn't tell me about this here. Why you didn't tell me that? You knew it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving the youngsters the whole game. You want the bag? I'm going to show you how to get the bag this way. You want the bag this way? This is what's going to happen to you. So my goal is to be realistic and show them that you can do it. You can I touch six figures. You can do it. It's all about work ethics. And welding is one thing that you can use that can get you over the hump. And you ain't got to have no excuse. Miss me with, I ain't got a GED. I ain't got a high school diploma. Miss me with all that. You ain't got to have none of that. I know old mans right now that own their house and everything can't even read and making six figures off a skill. So you ain't got no excuse no more. What's your excuse? I'm on this side now. You know what I mean? So that's my goal, is to show them that the only way you ain't gonna be great, you don't want to be great. You're gonna have to live with that and die with it. But if you do want to do something, hey, I'm here for you. You can do it. The example has been written, it's in stone. The blueprint is there. Anybody that uses it can do the same thing. This is not hidden. You know, I'm not no gatekeeper. I'm gonna show you the same way I made 100 grand. I'm gonna show you how to do it. And it's not hard. Actually, it's even easier for me to teach you how to do it. Because I done learned it now. You know what I mean? I can give you the game quicker. You ain't got to go through. See, the thing is, she's 22, I'm 46. The road is the same. The vehicle's just changed. The car's just different. You just driving a different car than me. That's it. But by me going further down the road, that pothole is there. She could be cruising that new car. If I don't give her no instruction, she go hit it. Or if she don't listen to me, she go hit it. Because time repeats itself. We're on one quick circle. I'm just further down the road. So I'm not saying don't live life. I'm just saying be cautious while you're doing it. If you want to have more fun, stay on this side than this side. That's all I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I'm doing it by example and by archive. So it ain't like I'm just saying something. It's written. You see me in these different houses. You see me in these different cars. You see me living this life. So I ain't got to, so if you want it, it's here.
Would you say that being incarcerated for 10 years, you said, at a very young age, is that why you have this connection with younger people going through what you went through during your time?
I think so, but I think I just have a natural calling for the youth too, but I was most definitely them without a guide, without no help, without no, without no, hey man, you could do good. My OGs put work in my hand. That's the best thing they can do. I'm gonna tell you the advice that I got from my OG. Hey man, put that gun down. Here go this ounce of cocaine. That's what I told him. Don't go kill nobody, man. Just sell some dope. Get some money, man. Get some cars. Mess with the women. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a well, tell me the rest of this part about the women and the drugs. Give me all the game. You know what I'm saying? But all they could give me was what they had. So they figured, hey man, I'm telling them not to kill nobody, not to shoot nobody. I was told to get some money, mess with some women. That was the best they could get it. You see what I'm saying? And that destroyed it. You see what I'm saying? So I had to save my life from that. So I want to give a person a full 9. And what you choose to do with, I'm not telling you not to enjoy, not to make mistakes. Just like I say, when I walk off from the booth, you gonna do some donuts. You know what I'm saying? I understand, but at least you got the comfort. At least you got the real game now. So if you do that, you can fix it. See, I did it. I couldn't fix it. They didn't give me that part. I just messed some tires up. They didn't show me how to fix it. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I want to give them. It's okay to make mistakes. That's fine. We're gonna do that, but know how to fix it. Know when to catch yourself. Know when to look yourself in the mirror and say, this is all my problem. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what welding do, and that's what it gives me the opportunity to help them have accountability. You know what I mean? Because when you step in that booth, it's all on you. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is that's going on, it's based on that individual. So once they get out their mind and they just do the reps, they gonna get the results. So it's even them not wanting to put the reps in or they in their mind. But it's like looking in the mirror. Once you look in it, you got to accept who you are. And I think that's what welding does to people, that really helps them face themselves. You know what I mean? You can't blame nobody for you. You can work hard, you can be better. You know what I mean? as long as you got all the information. So I just want to give them the right information so that way they don't go down the path I went without having the correct information. So that's how I figured I'm gonna change things.
Well, instead of just talking about the trade, you spoke about the booth and how you need to put on your protective gears on and all that stuff. Can you actually show us what it looks like working on a piece of iron or whatnot with your student?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's put some clothes on. Let's burn one.
Awesome. Let's do it. So what are this called?
So these are the welding jackets, and actually they are fire resistance. They'll still catch on fire, but it's kind of a little harder for them too, Now we do have leathers when we're doing like stick welding. That's going to be like outside, a lot of sparks. But for what the process we're using, which is TIG welding, I can actually have you weld with your suit on, and it's not going to affect you at all with the process that we're working on. So this is more of a cleaner process, easier process. And actually we have a couple videos where people walk up TIG welding in a nice suit and do a weld and walk off, because this is how clean you can do it, get good money like this. So just ironically. But the process that we're doing, this is for like food grade, stainless steel, aluminum, nickel, different type of alloys. They do this type of welding on airplanes or specialty parts, stuff that don't need a lot of heat, or you don't run a lot of dust or sparks or flames. Nice house, if you need something welded in the house, that's the process you.
What is the hat for? I see you
The
guys
hat
wearing
is for to protect the sparks or anything from hitting your head. Okay. So if the two things, it's gonna protect the sparks from hitting your head, and if you're sweating, it gives you a brow where you can still see, so that way the sweat will stop here. So it kind of beat up around here, like as you weld it, so you can still see. So it protects you from the BBs and actually keep you where your visibility is good.
Okay, is this all you have to put on? Oh, I see a mask over there.
Yeah, she got a helmet here. This is a welding hood or a helmet, however you want to call it. They come in different styles, different brands. So pretty much you can get them all different kinds. So it depends on what you like. You ain't got to break the bank. They go from anywhere from $20 to $500.
And this protects you from?
This protects us from the light that you're about to get ready to see once we start welding. So it's real, real bright. This particular process is almost like looking at the sun close up. So looking at the sun will blind you, this will blind you, literally. So you don't want to look at it, and that's what this is for. It allows us to see what we're doing without getting blinded.
Wow. So I can't even go closer, I have to get this to get...
Yeah, but I do have another hood that you can put on, so that way you can see.
Yeah, I like to see what it looks like.
And I got one for you.
How do I put it on?
So over here, we'll set the sensitivity, which is going to be about 11. You pop it on well over here. On this side over here, that'll be your sensitivity and how fast it get dark. We want it to get dark fast. So now all you have to do is open this up, put this here on your brow, about right here, and then push this behind it.
Get this on my brows?
Yeah. Normally right over on your brow, again, you can slide the rest of it in. Yeah, there you go. Let me see the front of it.
Okay, bro.
All right, fit right. I was like, that was meant for him. There you go. That's it.
Okay.
So there you go.
So I put this down before I start my welding?
Yes, you put that down before you start welding.
Okay. All right, well.
And then we got our gloves, which...
How do I look? Okay, so we got to get gloves.
There's another set over there. Set of gloves, y'all. I had another set over there. Don't worry about it. I got one. Here you go. So these are TIG gloves. So we have actually, just to show you, when you're doing TIG welding, you have light gloves, so that way you can feel, because this process you want to touch. These are more for MIG welding and stick welding. See how thick these is?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of sparks and flames. You're trying to protect your hands, but this one you're just trying to where you can feel.
Right.
So it's a difference on what you're doing.
Okay. So you want to show us something right now?
Yeah. So what we have here, I actually have a small demonstration of a TIG welding process.
You gonna come closer?
And I'm gonna do one, and actually I'm gonna process cleanness next to godliness. Yep. So we want to make sure we clean it. It already had a little debris on it, so we're gonna clean it over here. So this process right here, this is the TIG welding process, or the gas tungsten metal arc process. Okay, so with this process right here, normally I teach them how to just run this without using any filler metal. We're just learning the torch. So this is a torch. You want to learn how to use this, and in doing this tungsten, you can't allow it to touch the plate. So you gotta like hover over this about an 1/8 inch. So that's what you're learning first is how to keep this from touching the metal, and then keeping your travel speed. You don't want to start slow and then go fast. Or you don't want to start real fast and then go real slow. So you want to kind of find your speed, find your angle on how you tilt this. You want about, if this is 0, you don't want no more than about 15. And you want to keep this angle and that travel speed at the same time. So we're gonna run one first. Y'all ready to run one?
Do we have to put this on?
Yes.
Okay.
First thing to do is get the metal going, and then now all I'm doing is pushing it. Travel speed is everything, but you have to watch what you're doing, and you don't want it to touch. But you got to have it close enough where it's actually welded. So I'm gonna start right here and let you kind of see that difference. That's smooth in, pretty smooth. Now this next one, I'm just gonna give a small example of this.
What part of that feels like just being intimidated?
Keeping it steady, honestly, and keeping the distance even throughout the whole thing, because if your hand drops too far at any moment, the needle's gonna hit it, and then you just basically have to start all over.
You gotta start all over.
You gotta.
So you gotta clean this, exactly. So you learning how to you learning how to keep this from touching this, and then keeping your speed the same. So you see how you got to slow down, and you got to pay attention. So if you're doing a whole lot, you're not gonna get this right. You know what I'm saying? You literally got to take your time. Now I'm gonna give you an example of what it looks like adding some filler metal to it. You make sure it's good and hot. So now we're gonna give Evan a run. But like I say, with this, it's just practice, taking your time, being patient, and knowing what you're looking at.
The equipment to me is the hardest part.
Yeah, and see, that's why I got her on right now, is just learning how to run it. Once you get the running part right, the dapping will come next. But if you try to do both of them, trying to learn, it's gonna mess you up. You see how I try to show them, do one thing first. And once you master the speed, it'll be easy to dap. But if you try to do both of them the same, it just makes it harder for you. So you see how she got her hand? And we hit it a little bit, that's good. And you see how she just recognized that. She was like, oh, it's a little dirty. Because at the end, it kind of touched it a little bit. So you have to watch that. If you look at the end, it'll be dirty here, and then versus being clean and pointy on that side.
Oh, so it has to be clean.
Yeah, it's got to be clean. Clean is next to godliness. When you're doing this, you got to take a bath every time you throw some clothes on. You don't put no clothes on, man, without taking no bath.
We won't make a lot of the size of it. Yeah. So we put mud around.
So you have to always go back on that machine to clean it.
Yeah, to clean it, yes.
Well, because that is right.
You got it. And I'm gonna do like I did the first time. Remember when I guided you, the hand, and then let you have it? That's how we're gonna do this. So normally, I'm gonna have you stand over here. So normally when a student comes in, I always guide their hand first. so they can feel it. I let them hold it, and then I let them feel where they need to go and how they need to do it, and then I let them do it. So. You ready? All right, go. Hit it. You can get it. All right, I'm gonna move my hand out. That looks good. Hand looks good, angle looks good. It's very important that you don't change your angle. Oh yeah. You doing good, huh? Oh, that was a good one. And she didn't hit nothing. The deal's still clean. So the main thing when you learn in this process is to just do that repetitiously. And you'll run it on one side, and then you'll flip it and do it on the other side. You'll do that until you get the process down. Once you get that process down, then we'll start building things. But before you can build anything or make anything, you got to know how to put the weld in correctly. And that's when we start doing things like we'll start building corner joints, T-joints, lap joints, buck joints, where there's a gap in the center. That's why I teach them how to do that. After they learn this, you do all of these, and then you can weld make anything. This here shows you how to make things, how to put stuff together. So, but you have to do this process of learning how to do the gun. Once you get there, then we can start making stuff.
So all of this was done with welding?
Yes, all this was tacked together from the same machine. I tacked all of these together as an example, so they'll know what we're going to be working on, what we're going to be building.
So this is the beginning stages. You have to go through this stage to get here.
To get here, yes, exactly.
How do you feel right now? Were you confident enough doing that with this guide?
Yeah, it's actually been it's been a few weeks, so I was scared I'd lost my touch, but I'm pretty proud of it. It's just felt like getting back into the swing of things. So.
And that's the cool thing about it, man. Like I say, it's all muscle memory. Once you get into it, like she said, it's therapy. And then you get the reward of knowing that you can build something at the end. You can make something, either art, you know what I mean, or your own idea, you know what I mean? But I had them do this because this is what jobs want you to do. Like, you're gonna be doing this just different ways. So if I teach you how to do it in a small way, you can do it in a big way. It's like if you learn how to ride a bike on one of them training wheels, and you get good, if I give you a big bike, you gonna ride it the same. You never notice how you don't put training wheels on all the other bikes? You just got them on a little bit of one. And it's the same thing. Once I teach them the basics, they can go anywhere and get some money or do something for themselves.
So this helps build confidence.
Not only build confidence, it helps build skills too. You're building skills, you're getting safety, and you're getting fundamentals.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. This is the first time ever I'm being this close to this type of stuff.
What do you think about it?
I think it's interesting. I think I might come take a class.
Yeah, I think you should do it too. I think you'll like doing it. Because there's so much you can do that you can build. And the cool thing is that you can make certain things, like for instance, to give you an example. This here is made out of welding. I made this. This is, you can tell what this is. You put it on the desk, put your phone, put your pens or whatever, $35, right? Just say once you get a following and you got people that believe in you or you got a product, $35. Now I got only, right now, a little over 200,000 subscribers. When I first made this product, I got 1,000 people to buy this at $35. So I ain't got to tell y'all how much money I just made. I got 1,000 people to buy this at $35. That car that you seen, that's cash. I don't pay no payments. That's why I did. I said, I'm gonna run this special because I need a new vehicle and I need this. So instead of me going to ask for somebody for some money, I built a product that made me my car.
You sold this for $35.
1,000 of them, and I made a car that I put that car out there. It was 9,500 cash. I cashed it out because of a product I made. So when you got welding, instead of me saying, oh, what I'm gonna do? When you have a skill like this and you have a problem, you build a product. And this is why I teach them products over talent, but I got to give you the talent first or you'll never build a product. So this is why I say welding is so valuable, because I'm gonna teach you how to build some real generational wealth. This can change somebody's life. And we can sit here, but she said, man, I don't know how I'm gonna eat tomorrow. Well, let's build something and sell it to somebody. That's how we gonna eat. Because one thing I know, if you want to sign and you sing and you're playing an instrument or you're doing something, a person, let me give you $1, man. I like that song. You just sitting there, man, just holding the sign, people probably gonna walk past you. But if you say, hey, man, I'm struggling hard, I got something going on, I built a nice product, this is what all I'm asking for, I really appreciate y'all that y'all support my. It's solid, I put your name on the back of it, it's one of a kind, you can't get this from nowhere. There you go. Now you just bought something from me you can't get from nowhere, and there's only one, and it's unique and it's organic.
So you're saying you could crest someone's name on this?
Yeah, I can do it. I can weld your name on this, real pretty, or I can stencil it in or whatever. Like I say, you can make it customized. I can do all of this with one product, one skill, which is welding, and I can change your life forever. And this is just a small example. The bigger the products, the more money. Now, I went from selling this to I got a shipping container for 80-footer. You can buy 70,000 to 8,500. I mean, 70,000 to 85,000 fully loaded turnkey. That's my biggest product, the shipping containers, which we have one over there already, the ones y'all seen on the right. But that's what I do. I turn shipping containers to cafes, bars, homes. That's what I do. So, all off a welding skill. I can sell one of them and I'm good. I can go kick it for the rest of the year. You see what I'm saying? Like, for real, because I ain't got no debt.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. That's the power of this. And that's why me being here, teaching her and them come in, they see me doing exactly the same thing I'm saying. Like, they see me doing it. So if I say, hey, here go my title to my car, here go my deed to my house, I keep it on me. My deed and my titles, I keep them in there, so that way when I'm talking to the youngsters, I gotta show them. How many people you talk to got their deed to their house on them, in their pocket? Not too many of them. I do. And I do that so I can show them what they can do from welding.
Something like this, how long would it take for the audience watching right now? How long would it take for you to make this?
Honestly, I can make, if I got everything cut out, I can make 10 of them in an hour.
10?
In an hour. This is not hard. And another thing, this is all scrap materials. Well, I'm gonna tell you what you do when you don't have a whole lot. I'm gonna give y'all some game. Most of every welding company you go to got scrap they throw away after they cut something. They get pennies on the dollar for it, so they ain't even tripping. They'll tell you to come and get it because it's gonna take them more money to get so much to get rid of it. They got all the metal you need. You gonna find a company, that's all this for scrap. I say, hey man, y'all cutting that, can I come and pick that up? Oh yeah, get that out the way, that's junk to them. One man's treasure becomes what? The next man, you know what I just said?
Yeah.
All this was scrap. All I had to do was make it and paint it and promote it.
Can you show the audience one more time?
And I made, you already know what I made. I made $35,000 in 90 days off of this product.
Off of scraps, basically.
Off of scraps. They was thrown away. I made something out of it, painted it, put a product name on it, and say, hey, y'all support me. I'm going through. Y'all don't want me to go rob nobody now, so I'm trying to do this stuff right now. Y'all help me out. And they jumped on me. I said, y'all, I want to get the pistol. I'm going to sell this metal. Which one y'all going to help me do now? And they looked out for me and said, hey, if I ain't trying to go back to prison, I got something to sell you, though, $35. Y'all help me change my life. Come on now. They did it. All I'm saying, if I would have kept doing it, I could have made more. But I had an agenda. I was messed up. I needed that a little bit. All I'm saying is it works. And you pretty than I am, so I know you probably sell 2,000 to 3,000. You see what I'm saying? That's how you gotta think. Once you make something, promote it.
So
you get it? She thinking. She's like, well, I got something. That's it. Change your life forever. So you see how something basic can turn into something major?
seeing this and what's possible for people watching right now, how does this make you feel looking at this, knowing I could learn this, I could make this off of scraps and sell it?
Hopeful, indeed, yeah. I just can't wait to finish learning everything that I can learn so that I could start doing the same thing. So I could start making my own brand and my own products and, you know, launch my own stuff and get my name out there as well.
You see how she said that? That's what I'm doing this for. If I never see her again, to the fact if she do what she just said, man, let's win. That's what we're here for. To pass it down.
Any last word for the audience?
I want to say this.
We can say it.
Information will change your situation. Information. You just need the right information to change your situation. If you learn how to weld, you're not just getting a skill to get a job. You're not just getting something that's gonna pay your bills. You're actually getting something that can free you, that can build generational wealth for your family, that can cause you to save someone else who was going down that same road. So if you're trying to get started and you don't think you as smart, just let me say this. Anyone can do this. If you're physically able and capable, you can weld. You can change your life. So I always say everybody isn't meant to be an owner, a CEO, or a boss, but everyone is meant to live a good life. And you can do that learning how to weld.
Any last words? Come see Mr. Joe. He got you.
Oh, go on, fam.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for sharing this space. What is the physical reality after about 10, 20 years of doing this?
So normally, that's really a good question. I actually wrote a blog on my LinkedIn page. So I have a blog where I write constantly on LinkedIn under my full name, Joel Brown Jr. And I actually broke down the transitional stages. Realistically, after you kind of change what you do in the field over certain times. So I would say, you know, if you're from 16 to, I'm gonna say 16 to 30, you'll be in your hands-on grind mode, getting it. You know what I'm saying? You can really be physically involved. After the about 30 range, you should be going into your foreman lead roles, you know, like foreman, lead man, metal fabricator, some type of lead role that's less physical and it all based on what you had learned over the years. So now you went from your muscle to your mind being your strongest muscle from the information you had. So about 30 to where I'm about 30 to 40, that's when you're in that stage to me, where you got the pivot. You don't want to do things, a lot of physical things. I say after 45, you really into that stage where you literally just teaching, writing books, doing curriculum, you know what I'm saying? Like speeches, that type of thing. So for a person to do it, you can do it strong, like depends on the age, but you can, like I say, I've been doing it over 21 years now and I can still go out there physically and do it, but I don't do that part no more. You know what I mean? But I'm still at the age where I can still do it. But I would say by the time you hit your 40s, you should be in a lead role. So, you know, you should give yourself like 10-year intervals. Like I was telling her right now at her stage, she's where you start building the skill set you want to master in so that she can have an expertise. So to me, from that 20 to 30 range, you're building your expertise. You know what I mean? So you can be older and dive into it now, just get started at 45. Now you still can go into it and you can still make good money, but I wouldn't say you're not going to be able to work like someone that's 20 and 30. It's just realistically. So your roles need to be different. You know what I mean? So I just say just be conscious on your physical roles, but you can, it can last for a long time. Like I said, I know a guy that's in his 60s and he's still welding, you know, physically, you know, on bridges and then in shops, you know what I mean? So it all depends on what role you do. You know what I'm saying? You change roles. So you don't have to wear the hard hat role all the time. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. A person needs to just transition at the right stages. That's where the bitterness come from. That's where the hurt and injuries come from, that a person don't transition when they should. Try to stay too longer at that one thing and it's not for you. And that's what can burn people out, get people hurt and all type of stuff.
So essentially is saying that when you're younger, it's okay to be much more physical
Yeah.
with your welding stuff.
Yeah.
But as you get older, because your body is getting tired.
Yeah, it's just what it is. So you want to do, you want to do less physical or less demand on your body because, things just start changing as you get certain age. Arthritis just come in, don't even ask you no questions. You just wake up one day and leg hurting. You know what I'm saying? So it just happens. So, I think the part that makes it harder on a lot of older tradesmen, they don't transition when they should. Like they'll look at someone like me, which I have seen them in their 50s, they 55, 10 years older than me, and they see me doing what I'm doing, they get a little bit bitter when they could have transitioned as well. But now you stuck in a role and you don't know how to transition. It kind of like putting a ceiling on you.
I also wanted to ask, what responsibility do you feel teaching this skill first? And also, is that why you are sort of prepping her now to be an instructor and, like a teacher? Because you're saying when she's younger now, she could learn the skill and specialize on one thing. But then you also spoke about you see her being in a leader role. Is that why you're pushing her towards that level?
Well, honestly, to be honest with you, I want to give her the opportunity to see what she can do with it. Like, because I know what you can do with it, but she don't really understand. And when she told me she was making certain jobs, I know that with this welding, she can just have one thing that could replace all that, and then she can have a little side hustle. Or then she can teach. But with how her mind works, and then, like I say, it's different from when I started. So she actually got a foot ahead of me because she actually got me. I ain't had nobody to tell me the truth. You know what I'm saying? So by me giving it to her, she can start her teaching role even quicker. And, being a good teacher, man, that's valuable. Like that's 50 grand or more a year just knowing how to teach someone else to do it. It's less physical on you, you know what I'm saying? And then you can show up looking good and just show them how to do to get to work, you know what I'm saying? So it's more you can do now that I didn't even know. You see what I'm saying? They didn't tell me that. So I can tell someone younger, hey, you ain't got to get dirty if you don't want to, or you can if you want to. But I see her with the potential on not just doing it, but with what they got set here and with the speed of this program, I can see her doing that type of role. You know what I mean? Like I can literally see her doing it. If that's something that she want to do, she have the drive and just that natural thing that could, just lead people. So, when I see someone have it, I try to, it's like I heard a guy say, instead of me trying to get my child to be my next best thing or what I didn't make it, I always look into the kids and I see what they're good at and embellish that. And she's a born leader and I'm just going to embellish it and just make it so she can see it too. That's it.
Listening to your instructor talk about you have this drive for helping people, being a leader, do you feel that way or you feel like there's so much pressure? That's the first thing. And also, do you feel like, what do you need the most from someone teaching you?
I don't really feel pressure from it because, I mean, these are like things that I've like always said about myself, even other people didn't really recognize that or whatever. So, I mean, to hear that he feels that way too makes me feel good, obviously. That makes me like a little more confident to try to take on the role. I would say the most important thing to have from an instructor is like the caring attitude. Like you have to tell that they care and that they actually enjoy what they're doing, because it just changes the whole atmosphere. Like I said earlier, if your instructor doesn't care too much, you're not going to care too much. And then also, this being like such a dangerous field, you can have an instructor who doesn't care too much and is just there to make a check, and they could easily just tell you one time like, okay, this is what you need to do to be safe. I'm gonna tell you this, you choose to do it or not, whatever. Whereas Mr. Brown will, check us every time like, no, you need to have your gear on. Go put your gear on right now, because yeah, it's really important. So for me, if I was to be an instructor, my main thing would be to have my students know, like, if you need something, please come to me. Like, it's not going to be a thing, because a lot of instructors nowadays kind of like shame you on needing instruction. even though it was something that like
That's a good one. That was a
clearly
good one.
not something that I would have known without you telling me, especially if I'm new in this field. So then making you feel dumb for needing the help just changes your whole mentality on it, kind of. And it throws you off and it just makes you lose the passion and then you just don't want to do it anymore at all. So then, there goes that road for you. Now you got to find something new and then you got to do the whole process again. And that helps no one.
And see, that's why I go back to say that you got to have a passion. Being a teacher of any kind, to me, you're doing a disservice. You're doing a disservice by not helping a person other than you seeing the physical benefits of getting that check. You know what I mean? You have to literally want to give it, and they can tell. Just like, when you say kid, I'm talking about you're still grown, but even a baby can tell if someone is for them or against them. You know what I mean? And I have heard people say, man, so-and-so mean, but when the kids go around, all the kids want to be around me. So how am I mean? No, I'm just firm and I'm honest. Like she said, I'm going to say, hey, put the gear on before you lose your foot. You're going to respect me for that. You know what I mean? Versus me not saying nothing, then you lose your foot. Now you look at me, man, he ain't tell me. You know what I'm saying? So, I think, when you affirm and you care, it makes the people want to be around you. Now, people that don't like corrections at all, they'll shun from you saying anything. But the ones that really want it, they like that you tell them, hey, he said, nah, he's just going to tell us, keep us safe. It's kind of what the shepherd does. You know what I mean? Being a shepherd of sheep or being a shepherd of people. You know what I mean? Like, they know the difference and they're going to follow you once they see that you got their best interests in mind.
Yeah, it's like a balance. You have to be firm, but you also have to care, because if you're not firm, they're not going to care about anything you're saying. They're not going to respect what you're saying. But if you don't also show the care behind it, then it's kind of just like, you're always trying to tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? I know me personally, I never was one I would take the instruction because I knew I had to, but I didn't always receive it well. It just sounded like criticism. And, I didn't take to authority too well, but I just did it because I knew I had to. Whereas you could tell me to do it and I might be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But then I'll respect it because you cared enough to instruct me and tell me to do it. And, it shows a lot.
Would you say it was because of your background, that's why you don't really take to authority like that? Or when you first started, but now you have this respect for him because he cares about you and he wants you to actually do well?
My background was, when I was younger, I just got told to do stuff. It wasn't really like, you need to do it because of this or whatever. It was just like, do it or you're going to get in trouble. And I didn't take to that well. Like I said, I would do it because I didn't want to get in trouble, but I would have that anger or resentment behind it that I also was scared to show in fear of getting in trouble. And with Mr. Brown, it wasn't even really just like, I didn't have trouble taking instruction from him because he immediately showed he was enthusiastic about what he was doing. So I knew that he would teach it to where it would also be enjoyable and it wouldn't feel like a drag, like something I was forced to do. So it was just taking instruction from a normal teacher, but I enjoy doing it.
What does being good at this work mean to you personally?
Like self-fulfillment. Because I can try things and be good at it even if I don't enjoy it. But when I dedicate to something and I enjoy doing it and I'm good at it, it just makes me feel like I'm fulfilling some kind of purpose. However, like instructing or helping other people makes me feel like I'm doing something that I'm supposed to. Especially because nowadays when you don't have a lot of older people to look up to or give you help or instruction and you're kind of trying to find your own paths, it can be hard and it can make you feel like you don't have a purpose or, there's not really anything for you. So you kind of have to wedge your way into certain spaces. So yeah, just to have him there to tell me that like, this is what you're good at. I feel like this is what you're supposed to do. And then adding on to how I also feel about that, it just Yeah, it makes you feel purposeful.
Having an instructor who truly wants you to do good at this trade, does that make you feel emotional because you didn't get those role model growing up?
Yes. My dad was a horrible role model. He does a little better now, but he really was not the greatest for a while. And like I said, all my uncles were like in and out of jail just like him. And they weren't around that often because they were older as I was little. So I didn't have like a lot of great male or female figures really. So I kind of have just been like to myself and, doing my own thing for a while. So it was refreshing to have someone who actually cared.
Seeing how she feels right now, how does that make you feel?
I would just, honestly, like I say, it makes me know that I'm where I need to be at. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about this conversation, it was April of 24 when I made the decision to network with the school, and we're just now getting it off the ground in November of last year. So, we've been on it so that way we can actually do what we're doing, helping her and helping these other kids, because they need to have people to be that. See, a lot of times we'll preach and we'll tell people, go to church or read your Bible or do this, but they don't see those people when they look at you. You telling them something, but they don't even see it when they're looking at you. So if I could be that example, whatever I say, if I say it and it's real, they'll listen to me then, because I'm that example of what I'm trying to give them, or I'm the example of what they've been missing. You see what I'm saying? Because I was once there too. So I know how important it is to have somebody that care about you for just who you are and just want to see that good in you. No strings attached, not trying to take advantage of you, not trying to win off of you, not trying to, none of that. Just, I want to see you win. And I know how valuable it is. And I also know how skeptical it is at first because you're not used to it. So, but once you see it and it's written on me, you can kind of come, oh yeah, he want to see me win. And that's how I get to changing people so quickly. And that's what made it so quick for her to get it. That's why she was like, man, the way he gave it to me, because she felt me. You know what I mean? And I gave her the instructions right. She was easy to kick and repeat the process. And that's why that's why welding is so much a muscle memory type of thing. You have to have the passion, and then you just have to do it. So it just shows me I'm in my right lane, because what she just described is the reason literally why I'm doing this. Because ironically, like I say, I got 3 kids, but my son, I don't see my son. So I have to teach other people's son. I have to help other people with their kids, even though I'm not seeing mine and I'm paying for them. You see what I'm saying? So it helps me that even if I don't get a chance to see mine, I'm still helping them. You see what I'm saying? It's so many other kids out here I can help. Or I can be bitter that I don't see mine and I don't help nobody. But I don't want to be that way. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted, when he do get his turn to turn around and he get to see, it'll be so many people that's going to come to him and say, man, your daddy saved me. Your daddy gave me this. You see what I'm saying? So as long as I can do that, I'm okay with not seeing him. You know what I mean? Because that's part of life. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't change how things are, but instead of me taking my L as a loss, I just turn it to a lesson so I can be a blessing to somebody else.
How old is your son right now?
14.
You might not want to get into these, but why aren't you able to see your son?
It's all based on, honestly, politics. It's not him. If my son could be around me and see me every other weekend, he would do it. So it's not him. You know what I mean? It's not him. And I can't have him, I can't have him looking at the person that he loves as the enemy as well. So me being grown enough to see what the situation is, I love him enough to not bash his mother, because I want him to see it for himself. So I'm not in a situation where I'm not trying to bash anybody, because we both had problems. So my thing is, I just want to be that example. You know what I mean? Because so that way he can see whatever was told, it's not the truth. You know what I mean? So once he do find out what I'm doing, and he'll know that all the lies and what was told, it wasn't what it was. So I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? So and it's ironic how it happens too. You know what I mean? How life happened, because I tell people all the time, I was driving here, so I wouldn't even stay in here. I'm just now moved into Little Rock now, but I was driving 2 hours every day. Y'all see me every day. I drove 2 hours. They didn't even know I was driving 2 hours in, 2 hours out every day for 3 months. Something could have happened to me, fam. But in life, I have to be willing to die for what I believe in, or I won't do it. What we're doing now, I'm willing to die for this. That's why I'm able to be so much successful, because I know I'm not going to get out this life alive. No, none of us is. So I have to make a real impact. So whatever I do got to be strategic. So I know just because I'm not seeing him, I'm making sacrifice, I'm going to change somebody else. My son is just one soul. If I change 100 souls, what you think God want me to do? Give up and be depressed because I can't see one soul, or help 100? So that's what I choose to do. So that's why I'm at the college, so I can save souls. So just because I'm not seeing mine, I'm not going to be bitter and change somebody else's situation. See, that's how I'm going to live to be remembered. You see what I'm saying? You can't be selfish and be a God at the same time. And I realized that, because God shines on the good and the bad. Every day the sun come up. And there's some people that's doing some messed up stuff right now under the sun, but he's still shining on. So I have to adopt that same mentality for me to help people. And even in the point where I feel like I can't help myself, because I can't help myself with my situation with my baby. No matter what I do, you see what I'm saying? But I can change the situation by helping them. You see what I'm saying? And so that to me is worth it. Even if I don't see him physically until he's grown, you know what I mean? What I'm doing now is going to outlive that. It's going to outshadow that and all of that. You see what I'm saying? So I know just the fact that I'm staying consistent is going to help him with his legacy. So, so you got to have a reason why you're doing everything. So everything lies together. The reason why I'm here, why we teaching these kids, why we going to DYS, why all this is full circle. That's why it's working. That's why I got over 200,000 subscribers and followers. That's why it's steady going up, because I'm organic and I live it, and I'm willing to die for what I believe in. And when you met me, I drove out there. I didn't have nobody, a lot of people with me. I came. You say, hey man, come out to Atlanta. I came, I showed up, because I believe in, if I'm gonna do something, I got to do it. So when the sun comes off, that's how I operate. I just operate like the sun. My goal is to bless as many people as long as I'm up. And when I go down, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Thank you for sharing that story. How does it feel to build something with your hands?
It feels cool. It makes me feel strong. I don't know. Like, that's just always something that I've liked to do. Even if it's just like Legos or stuff. I don't know. I just always enjoyed building things. Because using it, like I said, back to the purpose of using my hands just makes me feel purposeful. Like I succeeded in something like that I did myself. I've never been the kind of person who likes help from other people and like anything. It actually frustrates me when people try to help me, even if I probably clearly need the help. But it makes me feel strong and powerful.
What would you say, now that you have some experience in welding, what would you say people misunderstand about welding?
Looking from the outside in at welding, it looks like something that would be like super like scientific and like just like so full of like that you have to use your brain like so much for it, and you really don't. Honestly, as long as you have like working hands, you're good. And you can keep steady. That's very important. So it just seems like it would be something that's way more stressful. It would probably take like years to learn and all of that. But in reality, if you just apply yourself for like a couple weeks or something, you got a whole career right there.
When you hear that, what do you want to clarify?
Nothing. I like it because it's just like that, because to me, that's the myth. That's what the school's been selling to me. A lot of schools, colleges been selling. You got to do this for 2 years, 4 years. You got to do all this, and this is not. And like she said, when you're looking from the outside, you think, oh man, this is too much. You know what I mean? It's not. But when it comes to learning certain parts of the welding, you got to get more, to be a specialist at certain things, you got to get more involved. But even then, once you got the fundamentals, it makes even that easy. You know what I mean? So to me, I think the main thing is sometimes when you look at it from the outside, you just get caught up with all the sparks, the flames, what's going on. But once you slow the process down and see what's going on, it's not hard. It's like riding the bike, literally.
Yeah.
You think so too?
Yeah. It's funny because I actually had a lot of trouble learning how to ride a bike when I was little. They tried to force me for years and I just couldn't get it because I was so scared of like falling off and all the other stuff. And then when I actually started doing it, I was like, all you do is push the pedals. That could have been told me that.
Okay, interesting. Mr. Brown, what does success actually look like in this trade?
I mean, honestly, success can look like, you owning your home, you going on vacations a couple times a year. Because if you're just doing it one time, you're average. So you can do a little bit. We ain't average. So I say welders are going to make you a little bit more on the average because it can just give you a little bit more money. You know what I mean? But I think that it can most definitely set you up. It can set your kids up. If your family hasn't been as a group of people that hasn't received like generational wealth, you know what I mean? Like y'all are not used to getting money. You can change that becoming a welder. You can change the faith of your family. You know what I mean? Because what you learn is going to influence someone else to do it. You see what I'm saying? Because the money, and then just like she said, she had uncles and cousins that she's seen it. So it's ironic that she's touching it now. But sometimes you have to see it and then get a better example for you to dive into it, you know?
What do you want people watching right now to understand about choosing a trade like welding?
The main thing I would want to say is welding is a trade that it don't hold no prejudice as far as age range. It don't hold no prejudice as far as if you finish high school, if you finish college. The main thing about it is it's a physical trade that requires you just to slow down and think. So it doesn't take a whole lot. You don't have to be no rocket scientist. You don't have to be no expert reader. You ain't got to be super great in math, but you can dive into this and you can pick up on it and you can master a process that not only can get you a job, but it can turn you into a business. You know what I mean? Because all of us don't think work. Like I say, I come from a hustler background, so I think businesses and entrepreneurship, and a lot of more people do. That's what you can do with welding. You can make art. You can make products. You can build equipment. Like there's so many things involved in welding. Once you learn it, it can literally free your life up. You can be the first generational person in your life to start a business. You know what I mean? Off of your welding skills. So it's so much that you can do with it. I just think it's the new door, especially for especially for African Americans, Black natives. I think like this is the new door for wealth. You can actually build some wealth with this trade. And if you want to start learning more financial literacy and investing more, it can help you do that. So to me, when the preachers talked about don't build your house on the sand, build it on a rock, build it on welding, build it on a trade. Welding, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, the fingers, which form a fist, you can't lose. And that's actually what we're building here too in this program. It's called the Booker T. Washington Workforce Village. We're going to have a shipping container that's going to be teaching welding, a shipping container that's going to be teaching HVAC and plumbing and electrical and carpentry. And so that way we can build up our own communities. You see what I'm saying? Because with those trades, that's the infrastructure. That's everywhere you go. No matter how much successful I get, if I was a doctor, I'm going to call the plumber and the electrician. You see what I'm saying? So we need that because everybody going to need us regardless. Let them get all the trade, all the money they want to as far as the degrees, but they going to call the normal person, say, man, we need Joe Blow to come through here and blow this hole out. And they going to pay you good for it. So, we all got a system, we all got a role. We just got to figure how we going to get in. And the best way to get in, to me personally, is welding, because it's less qualifications. You know what I mean? I can teach you from my garage and help you get a job, which I have taught people in my garage that's making $20 and $25 an hour right now. Or I can teach you in a nice college setting. You know what I'm saying? And I can help you start your business. So it all depends on what you want to do with it. That's what I like about it. It finds the individual where they at, and then wherever you at as an individual, that's where it's going to take you to. So if you already a go-getter, you learn this, it's just going to take you to a whole other level. It just gives you the opportunity to create your own freedom. That's what welding do. Financial freedom.
Awesome. What do you want people watching right now, especially newbies, like new students who are thinking, I think I want to be a welder? What do you want it to start thinking of right now?
Just do it. Just go in there and apply yourself. And it's actually great because it can be seen somewhat as like it's kind of therapeutic sometimes. Like everything in my life is like super fast paced. I always got to think about something, come up with some kind of solutions. And then when I'm sitting down getting ready to weld or whatever, I can stop thinking about everything else, and I literally just quiet my mind and focus on the lines. And therapy doesn't work for some people. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't just sit down and talk about things and get over it. But when you have something to kind of release it on, or to focus more on, like to perfect or something, that can help some. And that helps me at least. So I would say just do it and find your own way to do it within safety measures, of course. But make it yourself, if that makes sense.
So do you find welding therapeutic?
Yes, it's loud, but it's calming somewhat, like to be good at this stuff, because you're just practicing and practicing is pretty much all it is. It just to work up to perfect something. So when you know that you're like good at something, you don't focus so much on like worries or things that you're not good at or things that you have to fix. That's right.
Do you feel that way too?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once you focus on it, once you start looking at it in that aspect, like you're just looking at it from a bigger picture, and then it's easy to slow down. But most definitely, as far as therapy, I'm glad she said that, because we need to highlight that, because I talk about that being a part of our mental health counseling, as far as therapy sessions, is inside the booth. That booth is something else, fam. You're not only gonna learn welding, but it literally makes you face yourself. Remember I say you face yourself, so you can't worry about whatever's going on out there and then focus on that line, like she said. It ain't gonna work. So you have to literally push stuff out, and that's what it helps you. And then it helps you use that same therapy when you're dealing with your issues, because when you're dealing with certain things, you can't focus on everything. You got to just deal with what you can deal with at the moment, and then you deal with the next. And actually, it helps us deal with life better, because sometimes life will hit us and we try to deal with all this and stress ourselves out, and not knowing when you're in this boot, I got to focus on this. And that's the same way it is with life. Slow it down, fix one thing at a time, go to the next.
What is one thing that you wish somebody told you before you started welding?
One thing I wish someone told me when I first got started was, the more you know, the more you grow. If you stop learning, you stop earning. Once you say you know enough, that's when you're gonna stop. That's when your paycheck stops. I wish someone would have told me that from the get-go. I know it now and I'm on it, but I wish you would have told me that from the get-go. Stay learning about the processes. Stay up on the education of it. Stay pushing yourself to learn, because that's gonna put you in better positions. Every position I was got to is because I learned more than the supervisor, this person seen it, and then I went up. You see what I'm saying? But if I would have knew that from the get-go, I would have never stopped learning. And now I understand what one of my OGs told me when I got out, because I didn't get it at first. But he told me, he said, when you get out there, I want you to live life like you're gonna die tomorrow. Meaning I want you to be cautious, treat people right, do the right things, because you might not wake up the next day. So it stuck with me. Then he said, I want you to learn from life like you're gonna be here forever, like you never dying. Every day is a learning situation. Every day you want to learn something new. Every day. If you do that, you'll always be better. And to this day, I can say that most definitely is the jewel that can improve you. I don't care what you're doing in life. You know what I mean? Because once you live like you're going to die tomorrow, you're going to make better decisions today. You're going to treat certain people better than you would have if you think you got plenty of time. So I try to keep myself, and that's why I say I can't do something without willing to die for what I believe in. And so that makes me make that decision, because I wouldn't be here doing this if I didn't believe in it. You see what I'm saying? So I think if someone would have told me that from the get-go, which I'm telling them that, keep learning. Just because you get into it and I got enough to get the job, I got enough to get the raise. No, keep getting it, because you got to think you're not just doing it for that job. You might be in 1,000 different jobs, that's going to happen. So you got to do it for you, and you got to constantly elevate you. And I think if you do that, you ain't got no limit. Ain't no limit. The only ceiling you got is the one you're going to put on your own head. Yep.
Does that inspire you to go deeper on one aspect and become a full-time professional on one aspect in welding?
Yes. And I wouldn't even say just in welding. Like he said, the 5 trades. I also want to, after I get most of the fundamentals about the welding down, I wanted to kind of dip into the other trades too. Like carpentry is always something else I've always been interested in, again, the whole building and all that. But like he said, yeah, the constant learning, that's just something, and that's not even just like with welding, that's just something that I feel like you have to take through life with you in general, because a person who can't be taught has no future. You know what I'm saying? Like, even just in the little things. Like, if you make somebody feel a way and they tell you that you made them feel this way, and instead of doing the work to take that and fix it and change it and learn from that so that you don't make someone else feel that way, you're just like, oh, well, that's not what I meant. So, it doesn't really matter. You can't take that through life. You learn nothing from that.
This has been a great conversation. Absolutely. Thank you guys for sharing this space. And I just want you guys to give each other one compliment. So I'm gonna start with your instructor. He's gonna give you a compliment because he's been with you for a while now. And I want you to give him a compliment, being your instructor. So we'll start with you.
Okay. The first compliment I'm going to give you, you're a leader. I like how you get into a situation and just take control of it. You got to ask you, like, I'm running this, y'all get behind me. I love it. So that's what I like about you.
Thank you. I enjoy your passion. Everything you talk about, everything you do and teach, your passion shows through when you speak. And that's a trait of yours that I've always admired.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So you like his passion, you like her leadership, and awesome. Thank you guys for sharing this space. Thank you so much. Mr. Brown, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. This is Madhouse Conversations. My name is Genesis Lawanson, and I am your host. If you got any value from this conversation, please let us know what you think in the comment section. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.